Why would a person trained as a chiropractor do this?
Basically, for me, it comes down to being holistic. So in Nikken, we believe that health is not just one thing. It's many things. And I've seen it in my clinic. People come in and they know about nutrition nowadays, but many people still don't even know about sleep. And here we have a multinational global company that gives us everything: sleep, water, air, light, nutrition, and exercise. So it's fascinating. There's nothing like this out there. It took me many years. I knew Nikken even before I was a chiropractor, but I didn't understand basically how health worked and how the body heals itself. But we have such a gift here, and I think it comes down basically to love. Loving people, because Isamu Masuda started the company because he loved his son that was born with a defect, and he had to find a way to help him. So he thought of the idea with the pebbles and the magnetism, and he created the insoles. And Nikken has evolved from those insoles into something fantastic. So it's about helping people, loving people, and sharing this gift that we have. So it's mind-blowing, really. And you see every time you share a different product or the wellness home that people really are starting to get this. And we're proud and lucky to be part of this wellness revolution. And, you know, just join us and have fun.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Madeline Zaworski, and I've had a 45-year career in healthcare. And you heard someone say earlier, oftentimes it's a pain that creates the opportunity. Well, my pain was outplacement. I was a vice president of a healthcare system, and it was a downsizing. And then in the healthy pillar, I was outplaced from my marriage. And so the pain for me was that type of a pain. So I very quickly caught a vision, very quickly listened to what the mentor, I went to a big meeting in Atlanta, went to 15 years in Nikken, went to Japan, and I knew when I was in Japan how big this was. And so I moved very quickly. Silver in the first month, gold in the 5th month, platinum in the 15th month. And now that I've had my learning curve, I'm really ready to become a Royal Diamond and a Royal Ambassador. And I realized that with a bigger network, I could have helped more people. So my message to each of you is to listen to what everybody is saying here today and to say less to more people, to listen to the wisdom of what Roger Drummer said and the others have said here today, and the simplicity. And that's my message. The products work. The numbers of people that I have helped has been fascinating. I have a sister with a chronic, and I'll just leave it with that. My sister with a chronic bowel condition, multiple surgeries, years of narcotics, has been absolutely narcotic-free, hospitalization-free for the last 15 years that I've been in Nikken. So that's just one story, and there are many, many others like you've heard here today. More people really need this. I'm from Ohio. The American healthcare system is broken. We really need what this company has to offer, and it's through huge networks. Prevention, $1 of prevention today is probably worth $15 of cure. Thank you.
Thank you. Beautiful. A wonderful lady. We really love and respect Madeline. Some of you might be curious, like I am, why would a medical doctor who's very successful, who was never trained in the use of these natural solutions, magnetics, far infrared, negative ions, why would he incorporate them into his life? Why would he share these products? Please welcome a highly successful medical doctor from Calgary, Alberta, who's a Nikken Diamond consultant. And we just love and adore this man because he tells a beautiful story right from the heart. Dr. James Bews.
I love being here in Toronto. I'm from Toronto. I was born in Toronto. When I come to Toronto, I always think more often than I normally do about my dad, and I think about my dad every day. He's a great guy, and we were very close. And some of you have heard my story about my dad, about how I got into Nikken. I want to tell you a different story that also involves my dad. After my dad went up to Ottawa, one night I was at home in Calgary, and it was about 2:30 in the morning, and the phone rang. And I picked up the phone, and it was Dad, and he said, "Jim, can you come over?" And I said, "What's wrong, Dad?" And he said, "I'm throwing up this black crap." I knew a couple of things. One, I knew my dad was confused because I live in Calgary, he lives in Ottawa, so I couldn't just pop over. And two, I knew that he was throwing up blood from somewhere in his GI tract. And so I said, "Dad, hang up the phone." He said, "Why?" I said, "I'm calling an ambulance." He said, "I don't want to go to the hospital." I said, "I know, Dad, hang up the phone." So he hung up the phone. I called an ambulance, and I got the next plane to Ottawa, which was early in the morning. And by the time I got to the hospital in Ottawa, Dad was there, and he was in trouble. Normal hemoglobin's about 14. His hemoglobin had fallen to 4. So that explained why he was confused, because he wasn't getting enough oxygen to his brain. So they were transfusing him, but in the night he got confused, and he thought he was at home, and he climbed up over the side of his bed rails, and he fell trying to go to the bathroom in his apartment, and he broke his hip. So, insult to injury. So after about 4 days, he had his hip repaired. It was pinned, but he was in a ward room at that time, and there were 3 other guys who also had hip replacements that day, or hip operations that day. And the guy who was supposed to show up, you know, the intern or the orderly who was supposed to show up that night for work, didn't show up. Now, he was the guy that turned these old gentlemen so they wouldn't develop bed sores. And all 4 of those men developed bed sores within the next few days after him missing that shift. So it's a human thing. I'm not blaming that guy, but you know, with our hospital system, we needed another person to take care of that, because it's a simple thing to prevent bed sores. So my dad had a bed sore. They were treating him in hospital, and after about 10 days, I went into a surgeon, and he and I had gone to school together, and I said, "Doug, I'm going to take Dad home. He's missing Mom. There's nothing we're doing here in the hospital for him that we can't do at home." And he said, "Jim, good decision. If that was my dad, that's what I'd do too." So I took him home, and the wound care nurse came to dress his wound. Now I want to tell you what a bed sore is. A bed sore is where you lose circulation and the skin, perhaps some of the tissue dies. Well, with my dad, I want to show you how big his bed sore was. When the nurse undid his dressing on his backside, it was right here. If you put your hands together like this, that's how big his bed sore was. And all the skin was gone, the fat was gone. I could see a little bit of muscle, and I could see his tailbone. And so the nurse said, "Dr. Bews, this must make you furious, because this is a completely preventable injury." And I said, "Nancy, my anger won't help my dad's bed sore heal. What makes the difference between a bed sore that heals and one that doesn't?" And she said, "Oh, in a word, it's nutrition." And I went, I'm with the best nutrition company in the world. I got him a Nikken mattress because I want to increase the circulation to that area, right? And I got him a back flex to put right over that area after the dressing had been on. And I got him our Nikken Nutritionals. And then I had to go home because I'm from Calgary and my family's in Calgary. And so I left and I went home. And I didn't get back for another 2 months, but I'm phoning all the time. Dad was able to talk to me on the phone. I went back after 2 months, and when I got there, the same wound care nurse was dressing his wound. And I came into Dad's apartment suite, and he was in a retirement home, and she said, Dr. Bews, come over here, come over here." She said, "Look at this, we've never seen anything like it." It was entirely healed, apart from a little area that was reddened and granular, the way healing tissue is, about the size of your little fingernail. Isn't that an amazing story? So I want to tell you a couple of things. The first thing is that our products really work, and I believe that all of these products work together, but nutrition, those are the basic building blocks of health. Would you agree? Right. The second thing after I tell you that our products work, is that our business works too. Because if I hadn't had a life experience where I was working with Nikken rather than doing a regular medical practice, I wouldn't have been able to go down to Ottawa for 2 weeks and sleep on my father's couch in his living room while I attended him in hospital every day. It just wouldn't be possible. But I was able to see my dad at least 6-8 times in every year because I could fly down to Ottawa and spend that time with him because I worked with Nikken. I wasn't in a regular medical practice. I love this company. I love the products. I love what we can do for people. It's humbling what we do for people. There is another conference going on right now in this hotel. It's called Primary Care Updates. They should be here. Thank you.
Great story. Wow. Jim Bews. Is it true diamonds are a girl's best friend? Well, I want to introduce you to one of our best friends, new diamond, Maggie McKee from Vancouver, Canada.
Thanks, Michael. I actually am from Peterborough. They call it the Patch, if you know that area. And, you know, when I was introduced to Nikken 18 years ago, one of the most important things to me in those 5 pillars is family. And just like Jim said, being able to leave my tenured position at a college to be a full-time professional Nikken consultant allowed me to do so many things with my family and for my family that I wasn't able to do before that, including, you know, even being here now. I've been here since the 12th because I can. And I've been staying with my son, who's in the audience, and his beautiful wife, who's in the audience, and my granddaughter. Hey, Ellie. And I was thinking, how can I tell a story today about the journey? Because it's really about stories and the journey that brings us here. And I thought, wow, I've just been with my family for over a week. And Ellie, who is almost 3, she'll tell you, her birthday is July 30th, right, Ellie? She has made a decision. And this story, just think about this, anything in life. Ellie made a decision not too long ago that she was going to learn to use the potty. Now, how many of you here have been potty trained? Oh my goodness, there's some people who aren't putting their hands up. How many people here have helped or supported a child to be potty trained? Okay, so you know what I'm talking about. So I thought, well, how is that like Nikken? Well, there's so many parallels. First of all, I made a decision to be part of this incredible, I don't even know what to call it, lifestyle journey with Nikken. And I decided that I was going to do it in the biggest and best way I could, and I had a lot to learn. Just like Ellie, she decided she was going to learn to use the potty. Now imagine being not quite 3. It's a pretty daunting task, isn't it? However, just like in Nikken, Ellie had the tools. She has the tools. And her tools are an absolutely fantastic Elmo potty seat. And when she sits on that potty seat, she can press the little flusher and it goes, hooray, you did it. And it goes, just like a big flush. It's pretty encouraging. So, you know, if you've got some downline, you might want to, you know, use something like that. She also has the coolest Elmo potty book. So when she's sitting on the potty, she can actually read her Elmo book, well, look at the pictures, and know that Elmo is encouraging her. How cool is that? She's also got a lot of other things going for her. Her upline, her mom and dad, and her grandparents, are all just so supportive. Just like my upline. Bruce Black, Mike DiMuccio, Reid Nelson, Dennis Estes, Dave Johnson, fabulously supportive. That has made a huge difference in my journey. The other thing that she's got is cross-line support from her cousins and her neighbors and all the kids that have already been there. They're going, yay, Ellie, you can do it, Ellie, you can do it, right? And so we have all of that support too. Just look around this room. As somebody said earlier, if you get to meet everybody in this room, I know from my experience in Nikken, you call, they answer, you ask a question, they either give you the answer or they'll get the answer for you. That's how amazing the support is. And as Donna said, it's all for free. Like, that's pretty cool. We had to pay how much for that potty? That was pretty expensive, right? So we have the tools, we have the support, most of all we have the passion, and Ellie has the passion. I can show you a little video later that's on her own Tumblr site about her first experience of the new potty, and she did it. So what did you do, Ellie? You stood up and she said, "Hooray! Hooray! I did it! I did it! I'm a big girl!" I mean, why don't we do that more often? Every time you reach a goal, just give yourself a big hooray. Do the Snoopy dance. It feels good. And everybody notices. We were all just cheering Ellie. She said, "I'm the princess of the potty." What are you princess of or prince of? It's all in you to give, as they say. You are an incredible human being. This is a business about humans being more, and you are every day by choice moving towards that or away from that, just like Ellie is. Now, the rewards part, I have to tell you about that. I think Nikken should introduce Smarties, because Ellie gets Smarties when she's successful, right? So I thought, well, you know, a diamond pin, that's kind of nice. A trip to Japan, that was really cool. And Mexico and so on. So we have so many rewards in this business that I did not have when I was teaching, believe me. So if you think about potty training, making the decision, having the tools, having the support, having the rewards, and then I know that she is going to be the best potty trained kid on the block before long. And she will then go on to her next goal with complete and utter passion and complete and utter I can do anything attitude. So think about that and be that.
Thank you, Maggie. It's interesting the amount of people who, and the diversity of people who are successful with Nikken. Let me introduce someone who was a very key part in my global success because of the drive, the desire, the focus, and the ability just to talk to 100 more people for every person I could talk to. I won from his success. So it is a win-win business. Please welcome Royal Diamond, former real estate broker, very successful entrepreneur, Mr. Ihor Lenko.
Well, first and foremost, thank you for your presence. It's good to be back home and somewhat humbling. Toronto has changed incredibly just in a short little time, so it's always good to be home. I've spent 33 years here in Toronto. As Bo mentioned, I was in the real estate business, had 7 real estate offices here in Toronto, as well as in the import-export business, and life was good. Life was very, very good. I worked quite a bit, and then something happened. You see that little thing up here? It says, "Welcome to your defining moment." I had a defining moment. Vulnerability. At times we're all vulnerable, aren't we? In one way or another. Sometimes we don't realize till something happens. In my case, it was an accident. Standing at a light, red light, got hit from behind at 60 miles an hour while stationary. So you know what happens, trip to the hospital, physio, chiropractor, on and on. Yet these products from Nikken, one in particular, that little backflex, helped me. But I didn't even want to acknowledge it. See, I thought it was myself wanting to get better. But what hit home for me was the fact that, God forbid, had it been any worse, what could I do? Because like most people, I was trading my lifetime for money. Yes, it was my own businesses, but it required my physical presence. See, and I have 2 daughters whom I love dearly. And one of them wanted to go to school stateside, Notre Dame. She wasn't going there on a football scholarship. And so I always promised her if she gets in, I'll be happy to pay for it, knowing full well I'd have another one going a couple of years later. So that was my why, and why is so important. But prior to getting into Nikken, like anyone else, having been in business, I did my due diligence. See, network marketing was something that I wasn't familiar with. Not right or wrong, but just didn't know much about. And then when I started looking at things, when I started looking at the industry as a whole, I can see why a lot of people do not want to get involved with it. Because 95% of these companies fail within the first 2 years. There's a new one springing up every 6 hours. 98% are gone within 5 years. Here's Nikken, a company that's been around for close to 40 years now. since 1975 has a rich tradition, but more importantly, I looked at one thing, at 5A1 Dun & Bradstreet. That said everything. I mean, there's well over, since Nikken got started, here, just North America alone, there's well over 60% of the companies that were on a Fortune 500 list are no longer around. We're rock solid, still have that same thing. That spoke volumes to me. See, I was intimidated by all these products. I'm not anything having to do with anything medical thing, I just try and keep away from. So imagine me getting into a business where we're marketing preventive healthcare products. But you know what? The products do work. It worked on me, but I didn't want to acknowledge it. See, I'm fairly thick-headed, somewhat, sometimes skeptical, and skepticism is good. Healthy skepticism is good. So it's a process that you go through, but it's important to do your due diligence. And that's all we ask people to do. Go through a process of evaluation. Because if it's not good for you, it won't be good for the person that brought you into it. But you know what we really look for? We look for people that respect their health. Because if you respect your health, you can respect the health of others. Now, health is not just one-dimensional, like it was to me before, because I thought I had a healthy body. But health is what? Multifaceted, those 5 pillars of health. And bottom line is, we're in the business of relieving stress. It doesn't matter whether it's physical stress or financial stress. Stress does not discriminate. And today, God knows, there are more people suffering from financial stress, and oftentimes it precipitates what? The physical stress. We could address both. That's what I love about Nikken. See, and the hardest thing to realize about our business is what? The simplicity of it. That's not to say it's not work, but see, once you understand these products, and stop and think about it. Once you how do you understand these products? Just by using them, who's not going to go to sleep tonight? No, seriously. And the importance of sleep, I mean, we've heard from so many people, that's where it really starts with. It starts with our sleep. So all I ask anyone is to, at the very least, experience the products. Because we can talk till we're blue in the face, it doesn't mean a thing. Experience the products. That's where it starts. And thereafter, as Bo mentioned, as a lot of others mentioned, it's almost, I don't know how to put it. You think this is a business? You can get involved for $60. The ironic part is it doesn't even cost you. It pays you to get involved because of tax benefits. The average school teacher here in Toronto can save anywhere from $5,000 to $7,000, $8,000 a year just by virtue of having a home-based business. Literally, if you have children or grandchildren, you know what you're doing? By not having a home-based business, you're taking money from those little kids and giving it to the government needlessly. I'm not advocating anything illegal, but do take a look at that aspect alone, just from just that end alone. So it doesn't cost you to get involved, it pays you to get involved. I love what someone said, you minimize, it's a minimum investment with a maximum return. Stop and think about that. When we register, when we get our products, when we get our business, everything is secured by products that benefit us. You can write them off as well too, but if you're already in business, you say, well, I've got my write-offs, you can easily offset, if you deem it to be a cost, offset the cost of it by introducing it to a few people, or you can turn this into a multi-million-dollar business. Yes, it is a multi-million-dollar business. See, the ironic part is because it takes so little money to get involved, we don't treat this as a business. Picture yourself, had you invested $100,000, $200,000 into something, would you be working? Yes or no? You'd be working like a dog from morning till night, but because we come into this with such little monies, a few $1,000s, whatever it is, what happens? You don't treat it like business. So if you treat it as a business, it can pay you as a business. And we have people in this room that have already earned $20, $30, $40 million, even received $1 million bonus. People no different than you or I. No different. And sometimes you say, well, listen, I can't talk as well as these, or I don't know much about this, or what. It doesn't really matter. Because it's not only who you know, it's who they know. But the best part of it, you know what I love best about this? It's the products that do the talking. We don't have to say much. See, we truly want to help someone. Stop and think about this. If we truly want to help someone, be it physically or it's the vibration you send out. But you can't do that unless you yourself respect your own health, experience the product. It's a relatively simple business. The thing is to have the courage to go beyond ourselves and know why we got into this. We all have a reason. Why are you here today? Why did you come here today? See, we all get exposed to these wonderful thoughts, ideas. We all get the same products, the same literature, everything else. But you know what it is? How many people have the courage to go out and act on it? See, it's thought plus action equals what? Satisfaction. The same thoughts minus the activity, frustration. So we can either satisfy ourselves or frustrate ourselves. It's that simple. See, I honestly believe sometimes when it comes to money, people get a little queasy. But you know what I say? Go out there and create a financial overflow. For one simple reason. We cannot give, I cannot give, you cannot give what we do not have, be it time, money, or love. And it's a philosophy, it's a way of life. And that's what Nikken's all about. Really take a look at it for what it is. At the very least, know what you're saying yes to or know what you're saying no to. Few dear people that asked me to pass on their love and message, one being Poupée Gavarete. She's from here. She would very much would have liked to be with us, but unfortunately couldn't be here. Anyone that knows Poupée, she's got a heart of gold, and she loves everyone and anyone, and just wants to give her best, as well as the galleys that are presently on their wedding anniversary celebrations. And it's not even what people say, it's what they do. And if there's anyone that does, they do. They're out there. You want them on a Tuesday night, they'll drive 40, 50 miles here or there. Other people will say things, but they're doers, and because they made a decision, because the products help them. Thank you.
Well said, Ihor. Yeah, I believe the galleys are in Dubai and traveling some very exotic places, and they are earning income this very moment. Ahuva Simone is a very fascinating woman. She has had tremendous success in business, and she's driven by a passion of helping other people. Please welcome former real estate broker and Nikken Royal Diamond, former International Consultant of the Year, Ahuva Simone. In fact, Nikken's very first International Consultant of the Year.
How many guests we have here today? Can you just put up your hand? Welcome, welcome. We're thrilled to have you. Okay, let me give you a little bit of my background. I come from real estate and development. I own my own company for 28 years until I did a merger with the largest company in Canada. And I operate an office with 100 employees. So you can imagine the expense that we have every month, et cetera, et cetera. If I took all my 100 employees to a session with one of the top real estate trainers that came from the United States, and at the time that we had to have lunch, I took time to walk around the hotel. So I walked into rooms that had a lot of vendors displaying product and demonstrating product. And something caught my eyes. And that was a desk with Nikken product. I didn't know what it was. And I was standing on the side and seeing a demonstration of the product. Do your hand like that, push up, push down, and everybody, they do with the mug boy, So, you know, I'm in the business world. For me, in my heart, I say, I've been in this movie before. I've seen that movie before. But I was I was open to look at that. And then when it cooled off there, I came into the distributor and I said, what are you selling here? So they start telling me about the magnetic and far infrared, et cetera, et cetera. And I said, sounds good. But who knows, you know? We have lots of stories. So she's telling me, the lady asked me, do you have any discomfort, any pain? I said, oh, do I? Because I was involved in a car accident. Somebody decided to do a left turn, and I was in a strong Mercedes-Benz, but he smashed my car and I was inside. So I'm lucky to be here on stage. Yeah, I really am blessed. And they had to cut the door, pull me out, etc. So I hurt badly my shoulder. I was okay, but they treated me for over a year. The best doctors around, whatever it is, nobody can really help. There's Tylenol, this one, stronger, Tylenol 3, Tylenol 10, you know, and I'm a little bit anti-medication. I'm more natural. So when I hear all what they told me about Nikken, I was thinking to myself, If 20% for what they told me, it's true, it's worth it for me to invest the money in. And of course, I decided to buy it wholesale, not resale, so I registered. I didn't look for a business, neither I was interested in a business, nothing, just a product to see what it will do for me. And I bought the sleeping system, the chain, anything basically that can help me, the insole, etc. And I was amazed. In 3 weeks, I see such different, that even yourself, you touch, you just don't know what happened to you. So of course I start, so I start talking, how could it be? They treated me a year with all kind of treatment, nothing helps. That is really the truth. So I start telling everybody about it. No, if it's good for you, it's good for me. Everybody registered. If it's good for you, it's good for me. They somehow trust me. So, and I didn't know much about the product, so I needed some help. I called here, I called there. You have a lot of help in Nikken, it's not a problem. And that's it. One day I get a call, and actually I got a call from Michael, and he said to me, why don't you think about the business? I said, me, the business? How can I do this business? I don't have 1 minute time for the business. I bought the product, I'm very happy, thank you very much, and that's it. He said, let me talk to you, let me meet with you. So I met with Michael, he explained me, and I said, look, Michael, I start my day at 7 a.m., sometimes I go home at 11. I don't have a minute to breathe, so, and I don't really need, everybody needs more money, but my business is lucrative, and I don't have the time. My problem was completely time. And then I decided that I'll speak to a few top earners, which I met Mike DeMuccio, and I talked to Bruce Black. I wanted to see them, to look at them, not to hear them on the phone. I'm a business person, so I need to see and to feel together, but to use my head for decision. And then I figure out, they're all beautiful, really very respectable, beautiful people. But I say, if they can do it, I can do it. How? I didn't have a clue. Because time, how can you invent time? And what really attracted me, beside the product is nothing to add. It talks for itself. But what really attracted me is, I'm working in real estate, like I'm a broker with a big office, a big developer, etc. But I don't have any pension. No pension. You go, you make deals, you make money, you put it in the bank, you spend it, children, or whatever it is. Nothing residual, nothing reproductive, no income that's coming by itself. And I always wanted to do business. My feeling was always business international. And I looked at Nikken, a vehicle, for me to get that. And the truth is I didn't know how. I didn't understand in network marketing anything. I saw that anybody that has nothing to do sell some product to their family. Really, I didn't know anything about that. So I said, well, and the reputation was not such a good reputation for most of the companies because they don't deal right. So I checked the company, and I was very impressed by the report, and then Bradstreet, etc., etc., etc. So I say, I'm game. I'm just game. I was registered, and I start running all over the place. Everybody that breathe, drink water, or walk, I was talking to. If I was 6 feet away, I come closer. And I never seen anybody that I start talking and just washed him with the story of Nikken. Nothing. Because the more, I don't want to say puke on him, Nikken. So really, what I did, I just spoke to everybody. Hello, how are you? And I shut up. The key is when you ask somebody, how are you? He's going to tell you much more than you want to know. You can't shut him up. So you sit quiet, and then you can decide from which way you'll bring Nikken into the play. Either from the hurt in the pocket, or either the hurt in the body. Notwithstanding it, always give it all out. Because you can't tell a person how he feels. He has to tell you how he really feels. So you make the test and all that. We are not going to get into it. And the residual income, that's what moved me forward. Because I say to myself, Nikken will be my retirement. Because real estate, till today, I didn't quit real estate. Because real estate always was good to me. And I have a very good relationship. And I served in the past in the Toronto Real Estate Board Arbitration and Ethics Committee. So I'm sitting well with real estate. But I did do a merger, finally, after 28 years that they wanted to merge with the company, with my company. And because I wanted to free my time and to expand Nikken. And that's what I did. And I'm blessed to have, and must tell you and share with you, I have in here quite a few people in my team, and I'm blessed to have leaders as Lubov Romanovsky, Diamond Lubov Romanovsky, Diamond Anna Kagan. I didn't see you where you are, but and we're going to see Royal Diamond Anna Meyer arriving with a plane. We're going to land, and she's coming straight here. So I'm a very blessed person to have such a great people in my organization, and my success is not mine, it's their success. Without them, we cannot do it by ourselves. And that is a nice thing about Nikken. You can earn as much that you want. You can earn $200 a month, you can earn $500 a month, you can earn $50,000 a month. You dictate what and how much you want to earn. And then just make sure whoever you do it with, you make a plan and work the plan. No emotion there. Oh, he didn't want to talk to me, this one, that. You don't have the luxury of feeling sorry for yourself if you want to earn the real money. So the plan is very important, but the most important is the decision. You need to make a decision that you feel here. It doesn't matter what I say. It doesn't matter what anybody say. If you feel it here, like I did, I just went for it. And there's no way back. There's no way back. Failure is not a solution. So I want to thank you. We'll see you later. If you have any other questions, we'll tell you.
You're awesome. We love you.
This fellow, a long time ago, was on the other end of a phone call when I was first looking at this opportunity. And I said, what can you tell me, Reid? What do I need to do? He said, and I quote, Mike, go out, make a big mess. We'll help you clean it up later. 3 weeks later, he was in this city to help me clean it up with a large audience of people, a kickoff to my business, our team. And he has been a support to our business, our organization, as a mentor, as a leader, one of the top income earners in this company. Please help me welcome, on your feet, please, Royal Diamond, soon to be Royal Ambassador, Mr. Reid Nelson.
All right. You know, how many of you went to university and graduated, of course? I mean, you know, all that, sure. See, there is hope. You can do it too, you see? It's not about your education or your lack of it. It's not about really anything right now. It's about your desire to make a change. 22 and a half years ago, we made a decision. This guy in the front row, Dave Johnson, wave at everybody, Dave, called me on the telephone, and I didn't know him and never met him in my life, and asked me to take a look at Nikken. That's a long story condensed. And I hung up on him. Gently, it wasn't rude. I mean, just thanks, I'm not interested, goodbye, you know. And today, that's a frightening thought, you know. But then the guy that put him up to calling me, Clyde Pack, called me on the phone, another frightening thought. And if you don't know Clyde, Clyde is extremely shy. Clyde could sneak up on you, yell at you, and you'd never know he was there. Very mild. And he asked me to look at the compensation plan. We were broke. Who can relate to being broke? Anybody ever felt broke before? But you really didn't have to raise your hand. That's okay, though. But we've all felt that way, right? And we were accustomed to a good lifestyle. We had a good lifestyle. We had a nice home, nice cars, nice family. Everything was great. And then I made some mistakes. and all of it went away. What took 15 years to build was gone in 6 months. Caused a lot of stress in my life. That was in 1987. Ages me a little bit. And we, 2.5 years stayed that way. Moved in with my parents. That was exciting. Wife and 4 kids, living with mom and dad. How many of you are grandparents? Isn't that what you want, to have your kids and all their kids move back home? Pretty exciting prospect. Well, that's what we did. Told them we'd be there for a little bit till we got back on our feet. We were there for 2 years plus. Never found our feet. In January of 1990, I hit the wall. Stress, anxiety, you name it. Ended up in the hospital twice in a week, thinking I was having heart attacks. Has anybody here ever suffered an anxiety attack? Pretty exciting, huh? Yeah, no, not at all. Ordered to go to bed for 8 months, did that. Laid around for 8 months. In August of 1990, my eyes lit up again. I said, it was like somebody threw a switch, and I just came back to life. My wife was excited. She had 3 jobs, just trying to make ends meet. Enter Dave and Clyde, and the lights came on. Now listen to me very carefully. If you're new here, this sign says it all, right? Own your own life. You want to own your own life? If you're new, you have a chance to do that. When you leave this room, there'll be these given to you. There's an application. Sign it. Join us. It's a life-altering decision. Now here's a kid from Portland, Oregon, who went to college for 1 hour, really overeducated. I kept sitting here talking to my rocket scientist friend, who's really educated. I'm pretty educated. I just did it on my own. I probably got more books on my business on my shelf on business than most college-graduated MBAs. I'm well read. I just didn't like to formally go to school, right? I always wanted to make some money. And you know what? I hated being broke. I don't see anything noble about being broke. I don't see anything noble about struggling in life financially. Life has enough struggles as it is without struggling financially as well. Don't you think? And how many of you have teenagers? Yeah, well, or had teenagers maybe. They're pretty exciting, aren't they? They're from a different planet, you know? Right? So what are you going to do? The decision is yours. Join us. People ask me every day, how can you still be excited after all those years? Because I love what I do. I wake up every morning and I'm on fire to do what I like to do. I like to talk to people about Nikken. I think Nikken, you know what? I want to add my testimony. Everybody else has been on this stage. There is nothing out there like this. Nothing. There's a lot of companies out there. There are. And there's some good products out there. There's nothing like this. Nothing. I've been in network marketing for 40 years. You're going to want to check this out. Mike or somebody said something about doing your due diligence. Do the due diligence. Absolutely. I would. Treat this as if you were going to put $1 million into it. If you were going to put $1 million into this, would you have treated this differently than you do now? If you're already a distributor, you should treat this better than you do. This is a life-altering experience, not just for you, but for everybody you show this to. Don't you dare leave this room and say no. Because when you say no, you're locking somebody else out. I said no to Dave. Bad decision. Thank goodness somebody else called to follow up. Because there would be 200,000 people that wouldn't be in this business right now, at least through this line, if we had said no. There'd be probably 1 million people out there that wouldn't have had tremendous product experiences and changed their lives physically for the better. We've heard miracle after miracle here today, and yet that's multiplied thousands of times over the last 20 plus years because somebody just said yes. And you know what? When you leave this room, you have that same potentiality. Don't say no, because somebody you know needs what you have. They need this product. They need this business. But you know what? If you say no, you just cut off. Maybe you know, Clyde Pack doesn't have a huge business besides us. But what if he had said to Dave, well, we shouldn't talk to Reid, which he did say to Dave, actually. Oh, Reid Nelson wouldn't be interested in doing this. How does he know? How do you know who's going to say yes and no? Somebody you think on your list may be able to make a lot of money at a job. If you make a lot of money at a job, they own you. They want your body and soul. If they're paying you 6 digits, they want you, don't they, guys? If you've been in that position, they own you, and they want you 24/7. That's right. I'm sitting there looking at Mr. Fulle over there, the president and CEO of Nikken. You know what? And I love him a lot, but he doesn't own me. He wants me to be freer, not more tied up. And the more people we see and the more work we do and the more excitement we put out there, the freer we become. So if you're new here, join us. For all the right reasons, whatever your reason is. We got in because we were broke. And that brokenness caused anxiety and physical problems and challenges and financial collapse and everything. Now we don't worry about those things. We just get up and do what we want. I have a long commute from upstairs to downstairs. All my neighbors say, when are you going to retire? And I say, from what? I already do what I want when I want. Isn't that what you want to do? Isn't that the way you want to live? This is not a joke. This is not something you just hear about. I used to hear these guys on stage myself. Now we are one, right? We want you to join us. We know what you can do. You don't have to be anything special. We're not special. Actually, we're all special. We're children of a God that loves us, and we're all special because of that. But you know what? We're just normal people like you with an unnormal dream, with an unnormal potential to do what we want to do, a huge desire to win and a huge desire to see other people succeed. That's what we want for you. So if you're new, they got something for you. Whoever brought you here has got some things for you to fill out, some things. Do it. Come back here at 2 o'clock. You're going to have a fabulous afternoon because you know what? You're going to want to see this. Okay? Thanks a lot. We'll see you later.
It is my distinct pleasure and honor to introduce Mr. Fulle, who's been a very successful executive for many corporations, and he is now, he has been for the longest time, our CEO and president. Please welcome Fulle.
Thank you. Enjoy.
Well, good afternoon. It's a pleasure to be here. I always enjoy coming to these events around the globe. For me, the most rewarding aspect is listening to the Nikken people share their experiences about the products. Personally, it's a great source of motivation and inspiration for me and for our staff to continue providing for you. So many of you who are here have achieved remarkable success, both for yourselves and for the people whose lives you helped change. You are achieving incredible success, and Nikken distributors from all over the world share in your joy. As you know, people need what you have and what Nikken has to offer. Some people may join your organization for financial reasons. Others may buy products for health reasons. But it is common knowledge that your business needs both types of people, customers and business builders who bring new people to your organizations. As long as people have a desire to improve their lives, you will be able to build your organization. As purveyors of a healthy, balanced lifestyle, your role as a wellness consultant remains like a pillar of stability. That is, you will always be able to find people who want what you have. Life with restful sleep, clean air, clean water, natural light, and whole food nutrition. Our product philosophy starts with putting your needs first. And once a need is identified, our product development staff follows a comprehensive standard process with diligence so that when a product is brought to market, you can have complete confidence that the product will perform as indicated. One of the products that has been a favorite here in Canada for many years was the CM formula. As you know, Nikken had to withdraw this product due to a ruling from Health Canada. But what you do not know is that we did not give up in our effort to gain regulatory approval. We were persistent, in spite of Health Canada turning us down again and again. Finally, Nikken was successful in reaching an official who understood the product DNA. And as a result, I'm happy to say the CM product will be reintroduced next month. I'm going to have to announce these things more often. So this is an example of hard work and persistence, and it works. This negotiation with Health Canada was an example of the way we work when we believe in something. We don't give up. It is the same motto that successful network marketers live by: hard work and persistence. Rejection just means not now. What Nikken has to offer is necessary to live a healthy, natural life. What Nikken has to offer differs from what other companies offer. Others may offer things that people want, but we believe Nikken offers things that people need to live well. And by living well, I mean free of financial worries, which a successful Nikken business can provide, and also to live according to the laws of nature, even as society, through overuse or misuse of technology, morphs into a state of unnatural living, living with GMOs, radiation, air and water pollution, hormone-fed livestock, and the list goes on and on. What once was science fiction is now reality. Given this world that we live in today, my vision for Nikken has always been for every individual to achieve a life in balance, healthier and more prosperous. And by embracing the 5 pillars of health in your life, you will become more. Nikken makes this possible by offering the most effective natural health products, relevant training, and support to those who choose to live a life in balance. The result is a Nikken wellness home. Let me explain for a minute why this is so important. It's true science doesn't stop evolving, but neither does Nikken. As the pioneer in wellness technology, Nikken is committed to product research and innovation. What makes us different from most other companies is our commitment to use our cutting-edge technologies in ways that will enhance what nature intended, or in ways that replicate what nature provides. We make a conscious effort to provide you with the most effective natural products that will enhance your quality of life. Wherever possible, our products are derived from natural ingredients, not synthetic chemicals. Everything we produce is about health, whether it is healthier water, cleaner air, natural light, better nutrition, or magnetic and far infrared energy that provides restful sleep and freedom from pain and discomfort. Our purpose is to introduce people everywhere to the benefits of the Nikken lifestyle. And this is where you are involved, because only you can offer these products. Only your determination and dedication can help others achieve a similar lifestyle. These same products, when shared with others, become the opportunity of a lifetime to create financial independence, residual income, a business to pass down to new generations, a business where you are in control, no boss to be accountable to other than yourself, no office politics, the ability to work at your own pace, make your own connections, and choose who you want on your team. Many of you may not have had to deal with these issues for such a long time that you may have forgotten how it felt to be in that situation. I would like to remind you to share not only our products that are life-enhancing, but also the income opportunity that can also be life-changing. I want you to remember each and every day why you became a Nikken consultant, and to share your reasons, your story with the world. It is through all of you that Nikken achieves its purpose of offering a lifestyle based on the 5 pillars of health. You are the ones who enlighten the world about Nikken and the lifestyle made possible by our products. What else would be more meaningful? How else could you live as a human being more? The Nikken team that you build, one person at a time, becomes your family. You call this family downline, associate, friend, team member, and so on. Furthermore, your extended Nikken family includes upline, crossline, and Nikken trainers. They are there ready to provide encouragement, insights based on their experience, knowledge, and the skills necessary for you to succeed in network marketing. They are there to celebrate with you and to be recognized with you. We want you to achieve because we want the world to be a better place. Now that may sound idealistic, but the world needs idealists. Without them, there would not be the positive change that is necessary to sustain planet Earth for future generations. So I promise that Nikken will continue to support your efforts. Nikken focuses on the whole person, as evidenced by our personal growth and development class called HBM training, and by our network marketing classes. Equally important is Nikken's attention to the products we offer to impact the water you drink, the air you breathe, the light under which you work or read, the nutritional supplements that nourish your body, and the natural properties of magnetism and far infrared wavelengths, which alleviate pain and discomfort. But sometimes overlooked is the tremendous income potential created by Nikken, an opportunity to achieve unlimited success individually and as a meaningful contributor to a healthy society. In order for you to better understand how you can improve society, I would like you to understand where Nikken is headed. And the easiest way to do that is to tell you why our theme this year is the Nikken Revolution. Now, I'm not here to encourage civil disobedience, but I am here to overturn established paradigms that simply do not work. I am not here to make sudden or reckless changes, but I am here to effect and transition calculated changes for a better, more secure future for those who want it. Now, a revolution can be daunting, but our revolution comes directly from the heart of Nikken. Within our theme words, we identify the word love in green and embed our Nikken logo in it. Our Nikken revolution is balanced and tempered with positive passion. Some of you may already know that our logo is the heart message. It depicts 2 people symbolically holding their hearts for all the world to see. Love is written backwards in our Nikken revolution to suggest that in our world, we need to reflect the love within this revolution. And that reflection is seen in each individual that discovers Nikken. Humans being more is really about caring, self-development, change, achieving something better, something sustainable, and something for generations to come. It is all about living a life in balance. How we do this is by taking up the 5 pillars of health. You are our partners in making the world a better place, one wellness home at a time. You are making Nikken truly unique from all the other companies in the world. Thank you.
Thank you, Kurt. Thank you. Are you excited about the CM? Wow. Let's carry on. Our next presenter, I've had the pleasure of knowing not a long time, but certainly a ball of fire, international in scope as to what she's done in her career. And she can tell you a little bit about that, but she's traveled the world. She's worked in many countries around the world, helping companies like ours find their footing and become well established. And she is now here with us to help Nikken get the next phase of the Nikken journey off the ground. And Colleen Edwards is our National Sales Director for North America. Please help me welcome Colleen Edwards. Thank you.
What Kurt said, I just duplicate that, so I don't know how much more I can say from the corporate side, but what I wanted to ask, are there any Canadians in the room? Yeah! Who's here from British Columbia? Yeah! All right, Alberta? Always the loudest. They got the big Yahoo coming out. Manitoba. Okay, I don't think, is there anyone here from Ontario? Okay, here's the Belle Province, Quebec. All right. Anyway, welcome and bonjour. Good afternoon. It's just really great to be a part of this historical event. Mr. Fulle actually joining us for the first time in Canada. So great Canadian welcome to him. Some people might think I'm from the United States, but I'm not. I was actually born and raised right here in Toronto. And my father was born here, and my grandfather was born here, and my great-great-grandfather came over from Ireland in about 1856 and started a company. His name was Patrick Burns, and he came to Canada for one reason. He was looking for an opportunity. I'm sure he would have stayed in Ireland if things were great, but I guess they weren't back in those days. And he came to Toronto, and funny enough, he started a company. It was energy work. He actually kept people warm. He founded the Burns Coal and Wood Company. And eventually he built a company that would be the biggest employer in Toronto at that time, so you're looking at 100 and something years ago. And all you had to have was a horse to be employed by him. Very simple. You just get started, have a horse. He expanded his business by building satellite locations so other people could get a hold of the product, keep their homes warm. Does this sound kind of familiar? He duplicated what was working in one location to another location, and he provided a cart full of coal and wood. And then you just had to provide the horse. So he duplicated, and he shared what made a difference to people's lives. He kept them warm. And of course, back then in 1850-something, I'm sure this Toronto was a very cold place. So fast forward 157 years, how many people come to Canada looking for an opportunity today? How many people in Canada are looking for an opportunity today? I say that there are probably a lot of people. They're all looking for something that's simple to share, easy to duplicate, and makes a difference in people's lives. Enter Nikken. I just celebrated my first year. Boy, was it the fastest year in my life. And with Nikken, and you know, this is an amazing company, and what I know after my first year, it's a company founded on heart. Nikken wants us all to be more as humans, as Kurt said. The heart message that makes this company special. You'll not find the nicer, kinder, most caring group of consultants anywhere on earth. And we're here to support you with the Humans Being More class. You know, this class does not exist anywhere else. You know that. It doesn't exist in any other company out there. And you know, it just takes the fear out of who we are and what we're dealing with, the self-talk in our head. It just gets rid of that and makes you move forward. And nobody offers that when you get started in a business. And it's just got life-changing products, as you all know. Our sleep is our foundation product. And I just sent out the other day on Facebook, if you're part of my Facebook, it's just Nikken Colleen, friend me if you haven't. But I sent out a link at the Today Show on NBC, put out a little mini clip on the sleep deprivation amongst North Americans, and it's chronic. And just by sheer knowing that many people are suffering with lack of sleep, we have 300 million potential customers in North America. You know, thinking by getting 1% of that in our company, just by offering sleep, it's destroying the health of North America. That's not just Canada, the United States, all of us together. Everyone I talk to have sleep issues. It's one of the products that we need to lead with and make sure that it's front and center, and we're sharing that every day because it really, really, watch the clip. It's on Facebook. You'll see, and you pass it along to your potential customers because it's definitely something everyone can relate to. Our Kenzen Vital Balance Shake has taken off with incredible success. This is not only just a weight loss shake, but it's also a memory shake. And then Nikken, our home office, you know, that's the Nikken World Headquarters. That's the big building that you guys all built. It is just full of staff who want to see you succeed, realize your dreams, everyone that includes myself, and you know, we're here to support you. The sales hotline, write this down if you have a business building question. This is business building, 1-800-669-8894. That's 1-800-669-8894. We have Nikken University. That's a free online silver training, basic training. When you just get started, you can go on. Our next training will be July 9th to 11th, so get registered. If you have new people that join today, they're certainly welcome to get registered and get trained with our silver training. We have gold training, and this is really going to be a training that's teach the teachers or train the trainers. It teaches you how to teach. It makes you become a leader, and the information in there is invaluable. Larry Prophet is going to be leading that, and it's going to be an amazing couple days with him. And I'm here to invite you all to our National Leadership Convention in Las Vegas at the Green Valley Ranch Resort. It's interesting that it's green, isn't it? In Green Valley. It's this Mediterranean-inspired 5-star resort that is absolutely gorgeous. The pictures online don't actually show how beautiful this place is. And the reasons why we want you to come to the conference is you're going to hear from our rising stars, the people who are making it out there in the business, the cool people from all around North America that are really making a difference out there. You know, you're going to be part of the excitement of new products being launched. You get the chance to see, touch, feel, and actually get the chance to purchase them first. You get to meet incredible people, like an event like this where you share stories. You get to be with people that are doing the same business, make new friends, and then you have a connection when you come home, and you know, be able to work with those people a long distance. So, lastly, though, the most fun thing about Nikken Convention is our party. We have an awesome, awesome, awesome convention party. And you know, there's food, drink, and dancing, and in some cases, like Mike DiMuccio, there's singing involved. The theme this year is Vintage Vegas, from Bugsy Siegel all the way to whatever era you choose to show up in. I know Elvis is going to be in the room, so start to think about what you're going to be doing, what you're going to wear. But anyway, I'm just here to say Nikken is just getting started. And trust me when I tell you anything is possible. If you just keep talking to people about the products and the opportunity, you can go as far as you want with Nikken. Nikken is the greatest company and the greatest life-changing products with the greatest consultants on the earth, and believe that. We're just starting, and it starts with making a decision. It starts with your vision, your dream, and some simple, easy, duplicatable steps, and you're on your way. It starts with working harder on yourself than you do on your job, and it starts with talking to 10 people a day about the products and 10 people a day about the business. It starts by being consistent and persistent with the time you dedicate to your Nikken business. So I'm saying let's lock arms and let's take Nikken town by town, city by city, state by state, province by province, and let's move this around the world, because we actually have the opportunity to change the financial place of the financial health of everyone and the wellness of everybody on this nation and around the world, okay? So this is the day you set up your business, this is the day you move forward. I really thank you for having me up here to speak for a few minutes, and appreciate your time. Have a great week.
How many of you have personal life war stories? You know, you get together with some friends and you say, you wouldn't believe what happened to me. How many of you have Nikken war stories? If you don't have a war story, you've been asleep at the wheel. I was just talking to someone over lunch. I remember in my first year, Bruce Black and I and a couple of other people, I think Errol Ningham, was that Bruce? We had to drive through a snowstorm. Now here's a retired multimillionaire, doesn't need to do this. You know what I'm saying? We're driving through a snowstorm up to North Bay, Ontario, 5 hours. We get there late at night. And I'm not sure if it's that one or another one where not only the prospects didn't show, but the distributor didn't show. So through a snowstorm, we drive all the way back, have breakfast somewhere along the way, and chalk it up to a life experience. So it's not easy, but it's doable. And if yahoos like us can do it eventually, because it's just about finding a couple of other crazy people like you. Most people are far too sane to do this, but they're sane, living a normal life, working 80 hours or 40 hours a week at a job they probably would rather not be working at. So you have to be a little bit crazy, but it's worth it. Please welcome back Mr. Roger Drummer.
What I want to do is tell you how easily it is to change people's lives with the Nikken products. I touched on it a little bit earlier today when I was explaining how you absolutely have to have contact with the planet Earth or magnetic energy for your cells to actually function properly. If anybody ever says to you that this is crazy and they don't understand it, you can always refer back to NASA because they're the first people that figured it out. When anybody remember, this kind of dates me, but when I was a little kid and the first people came back from space, the main thing I remember is that they were so sick they couldn't walk, and they had to take them to a hospital. NASA figured out that's because they were missing certain wavelengths of light from the sun and a connection to magnetic energy. And after that, all the space capsules now are lined with magnets, and they're lined with far infrared energy. So is that woo-woo science? Does NASA believe in woo-woo and not pay attention to it? Russia does the exact same thing. It's involved in their space program. But the reality is it's a basic human need, and you have the opportunity to share that with people. And once you do that, what you've done is you've created a baseline of health, meaning that you've established a certain integrity in the health of every cell and every person that you meet, and then that gives you something to work with. And if you don't have something to work with someone's health, it's really hard to make any improvements. You could always give them a great nutritional product or something, and they might feel some benefit, but not the same way if they've already reestablished this connection to earth energy and magnetic energy. Changes the whole picture. A really simple way of thinking about it is remember years and years ago, of course I think I still do it, but where your TV didn't have a really good antenna. It had maybe rabbit ears. And once in a while, if you knew a really good show was coming up, you'd buy some tin foil and wrap it around it, right, to increase your signal. Now, what is that compared to being hooked up to cable or having a satellite today? The amazing amount of clarity of picture that you get and how many different stations you get. That's kind of like being connected to magnetic energy and not being connected to it. All the channels are still available. You're just not able to pick them up. All the information is always out there, but in a poor state of health, you're not picking it up. You're not getting the signals from it, and just that little boost in clarity changes everything. It's the same way with your cell. That little boost in its ability to function with full vitality can change your entire health. Now, it might not make a difference to a person who's 25 and literally is a bag of hormones walking down the street, but once that bag of hormones reaches about 40 years old and has its first big drop, you notice that life changes. And then they have another big drop in 10 or 15 years, life changes. But that's when being unhealthy and not being fully vibrant when you're younger starts to show up. It can make a huge difference in people's lives, just having that little boot up of energy and vitality. And this is, always think about this as establishing a baseline. And this is why I tell everyone, you can help anyone in the world because you're establishing this energy that now gives them something to work with. I referenced about MS when I was here earlier, and that was a good example. I have another great one, which is really opened my eyes to Nikken products, especially the magnetics. I was doing a meeting in New Mexico, and there was a Native American woman that attended the meeting, and she was knitting in the corner. I think she was 80-some years old. And it turns out she gave a testimonial. The reason that she was there was that she ran into the man hosting the meeting, and he had given her one of these mattress kits. Anyway, they have these little mattress kits. It just has a little sample of the RAM magnet in it. You've all seen it. And then a little piece of the comforter in it. It's a little kit. Oh, there you go. Thank you. Has a little blankie and a little thing with one magnet in it. He drives around his pickup truck with like 12 of these in the back. And anytime he sees a kid that's having problems, he gives one to the parents, right? He says, have him play with this, right? So she actually happened to be in town with her Down syndrome grandson, who I think was around 4 years old at the time. And he gave her a kit and told her to have him sit on it. And she went home and thought he was completely nuts, this guy she met in the grocery store. But she gave the blankie to her grandson and had him sit on the little pad, and he calmed down within about 2 minutes. She thought, well, that's just fascinating. He never calmed down. This is a kid she never thought would be able to leave the house and participate in anything, never go to school, anything. He was just uncontrollable, couldn't make any sense out of his world. So she got fascinated by that and ordered some insoles for her shoes. And because she has small feet and she makes jewelry, she trimmed the ends off and made a necklace out of the part that she cut off and gave it to her grandson. And he calmed down even more. Now they refer to it as his misbehaving necklace, right? He hangs it on a peg, and whenever he feels out of control, he goes over and puts it on and sits in his chair, right? In less than a year, she got him enrolled in a school. He's going to actually be going to school, all because he got reconnected to energy. They didn't give him anything that cured Down syndrome, didn't give him anything that treated anything he had. But you have to remember, we're all electrical beings. All of our thoughts, all of the processes in our body are actually run by energy and light. And in people like that, the signals are so incoherent. It's like a TV that's not getting a picture. All the signals are there somewhere, but it's never forming a picture for you to actually see. And when he actually reconnected, it allowed his body to reorganize just a bit to where he could make more sense out of his world and have more emotional control. And that is a huge thing that you can offer to anyone. And if it can happen for that little kid, it can happen for anyone. And he's done the same thing with kids with autism, which is really too much signaling and too much energy going on, but a lack of coherence. And when they sit on a magnetic pad or wear some of the magnetic products, it calms the signaling, the picture becomes a little clearer, and their life is enhanced. And what is better than just enhancing someone's life? You don't have to worry about treating anything. You don't have to worry about diagnosing anything. You're just offering them a piece of life. And so when you look at then, what do you do once you've done that? You've established the fact that you're creating this baseline of health. And it doesn't have to be, the full-on house. Even a chair like this is a great thing to sleep on. You all know that. You take it to your hotels, don't you? You know what I'm talking about. This little chair, there's so many ways if you have an imagination that you can help someone. But anybody can take a pair of insoles, put them in their shoes. Anybody can get a water bottle and change the quality and vibrational quality of all the water they ever drink. Believe me, these days, every single human being is buying bottled water. It's something that anybody can actually use to start to change their life and change their system. And then you know what? You have the other biggie, that if you can do that, if you can introduce people to magnetics and clean water, and doing that every day, and then look at helping them change the other big thing that everyone ruins their life with, and that is food. Everyone eats a very poor diet. Their diet is loaded with too much sugar. That sugar messes not only with their weight and the fact that they might get diabetes, but it changes their brain chemistry to where they can't make conscious decisions, they can't focus on their work, and they don't have the willpower to actually do something, even if it's a new business opportunity they might have. The thing I love about Ken's and Vital Balance, which you all know is our great new little product that we've introduced, is that this one little thing gives you the ability to actually teach people how to change their entire life. Now, I know you're all sitting out there and going, well, I thought it was a meal replacement. I thought it was something for dieting. I thought it was, but it is. It's all those things. But the reality is, if you understand how humans work and how their brain works, that can actually change someone's life. And I know this because I've talked to at least 30 or 40 people in the last 3 or 4 months who have lost weight, and they've never been able to their whole life. And they've gotten more focused in their business, and they pay attention to things differently. And even Mr. Balzer at the Nikken office told me that when he did the program, he was thinking more clearly in 3 days than he had ever had in his life. That's almost like Dave on speed, you know. Dave has got like one of the most active brains of any human being I have ever met. So now that it's booted up, I don't know what that's like to be around every day. But the reality is, we talk about this being a meal replacement. You're supposed to eat it first thing in the morning, right? You take it first thing in the morning as your meal by itself. Don't eat anything else for an hour. And everyone thinks, well, that's because it's low calorie and it replaces my other food and I'll lose some weight. But the reality is that your brain craves protein in the morning. It absolutely has to have it or it doesn't get set up for the rest of its day. If you don't give your brain pure protein the first meal of the day, you're not setting your whole day up for success. Your brain is actually set up for failure if you're having bagels and juice and carbohydrates for breakfast. It's a simple matter of chemistry. When you eat protein in the morning, what your body does is extract a certain amino acid out of it, shoots it straight up to your brain, and turns on a neurotransmitter that's responsible for powering up your entire brain. It's like turning on your computer first thing in the morning. You're booting it up. All that incredible potential that's in that computer, sitting there waiting to work, will not work unless you boot it up in the morning. Your brain's the same way. There is so much activity there and so much potential there that never gets activated because you're probably having a carbo breakfast. But if you switch that to protein and have a Kenzen Vital Balance shake, what you're doing is activating the neurotransmitter that boots up your brain and powers your brain for the entire day. And what will happen, it doesn't mean that it's going to be powered up for an hour. It changes the way it functions for the entire day. If you're not excited about that, the other part that most everybody really likes is that it's the same actual activity shuts off your cravings for sweets. Yay! Everyone out here who's ever tried to diet, what is the number one thing that messes you up? Cravings for sweets. Almost all cravings that you have are related to the same neurotransmitter that you shut off with a protein breakfast. So think about this. Within 7 days, you can lose your cravings for sweets. It's that simple. Just by changing your breakfast. If you really want to go into the full program, you want to lose a few pounds, change your cravings, 7 days, just eat the shake every morning. You only have to wait another hour to eat if you want to eat something else, but make it vegetables and maybe some more protein from any source that you want. If you do that for 7 days, you will lose all your cravings for sugar. If you quit eating junk food for 3 weeks, you'll actually gain back your real taste buds. It takes about that long for MSG and aspartame to get off your tongue. And then you'll actually taste real food. And all that stuff you thought was boring for years actually turns out to taste really good. And so now you've trained your brain. 7 days, you've gotten rid of sugar cravings. But you know what else happens? That same neurotransmitter is responsible for your willpower, the power of your brain, your ability to focus. It's all a simple energetic, and it all just starts by changing your brain chemistry. You know, most people always think about serotonin. They always want to relax. They always want to, they're stressed out. They want to relax more. But you know what is the main source of most people's stress? Low brain energy. From eating too much sugar, which creates too much serotonin and slows down your brain early in the day. No one ever thinks about it. When you have juice and bagels and this type of food every morning for breakfast, your brain makes serotonin, and within 2 hours, you get that big dip of energy. You think it's because your sugar went down. It's not. All you did was make serotonin for breakfast, and you just want to take a nap. That's what serotonin wants you to do. You've got a serotonin-loaded brain, and you're supposed to be out there convincing people about living a vibrant lifestyle. But what you really want to do is curl up in your car under a tree and take a nap. Doesn't work real well. But it can all change within 7 days. What you're actually hearing here also is the secret to the #1 way that you can impact anybody's health that you ever run into. Because do you ever run into anybody that's not interested in changing their diet or having more energy or losing a few pounds? It seems universal. Everybody wants to do it. Now I'm getting that vibe from around the room somewhere that someone's thinking, why are you talking to me about dieting? You know, I introduced a diet product once to a room of 500 people, and all I could feel coming out of the room was, oh God, the skinny guy is going to talk about dieting, right? So, hey, you know, that's what it is. I'm skinny. But when I was 20 years old, I was obese. I weighed 267 pounds. I could not bend over and tie my shoes from a standing position because I would lose my breath and lose my balance half the time. I was very, very heavy for a long period of time. And then one day, it was Christmas when I was 20 years old. At Christmas, that morning I thought, I'm going to go on a diet and lose weight. And I know I'm going to do it. I know I'm going to lose weight. And so from Christmas to New Year's, I decided on New Year's Day I was going to start a diet, and there was nothing that was going to prevent me from losing weight. So from Christmas to January 1st, I gained 10 pounds. I figured I'm going to enjoy my last week of freedom, and I ate everything that I could basically get my hands on. I went from 250, actually I gained 12. I went from 255 to 267 in 1 week. It's possible, I know, I did it. I was one of those guys that used to, you know, when you go to the fridge, you get the half-gallon ice cream out and you get a bowl and a spoon. I just get a spoon and rip the top off and throw it in the trash because I knew I wasn't going to put it back on the container. I still feel bad, though, because I was never able to eat an entire half-gallon of butter pecan. I could only get down to about this far from the bottom, and I had to toss it. Because when it starts melting, you know, it gets kind of gooey and it doesn't look the same. But that's how much I ate and how much I could eat. But in the next 5 months, I lost 125 pounds. I finally made the decision to actually do it and to move forward and change my life. And so I know what it's like to actually be hungry or go on a diet, what you have to go through. And believe me, the thing I didn't know at that time was how to control my sugar cravings. And once you do that, dieting's actually not that hard. Because when you boot your brain up with protein every morning, when you get hungry, it's not the same hunger as someone who started out with carbs. The carb thing, you're looking under the desk, you know you hid cookies somewhere, you know you got something that you can grab and you're just chucking it. It's not the same. You can get hungry and you just think, I have to eat in a few hours or an hour, but you don't get overwhelmed. You have steady energy because your brain is in a different state. You go through this process for a month and your brain has changed so much that even the thought of dieting doesn't bother you at all. It's not hard. The only hard thing about dieting is the fact that you're addicted to sugar. And everybody is. What was the first thought you had if I had to tell you you can never eat bread again for like 3 weeks? What's your first thought? You want to hit me? You think it's impossible? You think that I'm crazy, right? If you do, you're already slightly addicted to sugar. Because that's the only reason you're thinking that, because right away you're thinking, I'm being deprived and my quality of life has just went down. You don't know how many people I talk to that say, I could never give up bread. I could never give up bread. I got to have it. I've got to have it twice a day. I can never give up bread, right? That's a sugar addiction. Think about it. We all talk about becoming empowered. We're children of God. We can do anything in the entire world, attract all this prosperity. And almost everybody in the room is controlled by a company that spends 5 cents mixing water and white flour together and putting it in a plastic bag. And you're buying it, and you cannot live without it. Why? Because every morning you start out with the wrong breakfast, and you lose control of your brain for the entire day. And you're set up on a treadmill of craving and craving and craving all day long. And you can change that simply by having one of these for breakfast and give it a week and change your brain. Put a little effort into eating more vegetables and less carbs, but have this by itself for breakfast, and your brain will change within 7 days. You can even go that further say you're pre-diabetic. You know, I'm personally, this is my opinion. I always have to say that this is my opinion because some people get mad when I say this. I do not think that type 2 diabetes is a disease. I think it's your cells are behaving exactly the way you have trained them to behave, and they're just paying attention to the signals you give them every single day. It's not much different than your business. Your business behaves and responds to all the signals and things that you do with it every single day, whether it grows or it gets slower or whatever it does. Every cell in your body is simply listening to the signals that you create and send to every cell in your system. And if you're constantly sending the wrong signals, which include a lot of insulin and sugar, then the cell is going to respond to the point where it can no longer eat and it just ends up in your bloodstream. All you have to do is change the signaling, have protein for breakfast, get rid of your sugar cravings, and take control of your life back. It's all about taking control, and you can do that, and you have to do it with your nutrition. And once you do that, once you change your nutrition and take control of it, you're going to have control of every phase of your life because your brain will be completely different. You'll have more willpower, more focus. You'll be able to stay awake for longer periods of time. You'll be able to pay attention for longer periods of time. There was a rumor going around that someone paid attention to one of my talks for over 10 minutes once. I heard the rumor. But the reality is, we all are looking for these huge answers and changes in our life, and we don't start at the basic primal level of how that works. And everything in your life comes out of your own personal energy. And you create your own personal energy by creating your own environment that you thrive in and your own nutritional program that makes you thrive. And part of that is feeding your brain for success, and it all starts with protein. Look at what's going on in the world now in terms of all the diseases that are cropping up. And the big scary one for everyone now is Alzheimer's. You know, Alzheimer's is becoming an epidemic. There's 5 million people, I think, in the United States. Something like, with advanced Alzheimer's, it's gotten to be where 12% or so of the population over 60 has dementia. Think about those numbers. It's huge. And no one has an idea about what's going on. They know it's damage from the environment. They know it's chemical damage. Well, where does that chemical damage come from? It comes from water. Don't you have an answer for that? You don't put chemicals in your brain anymore, right? It comes from your diet. You can make conscious choices every single day about what you put in your mouth. It also comes from electromagnetic frequency pollution, which you also have an actual solution for too. It's the magnetic products we talked about. Creating your own personal energy field that offsets the environment that you're in. You know, this is a concept very few people think about, and it is getting into talking about pure energy. But the reality is we're all energetic beings. We have signals of light transmission through every cell in our body that actually determines how you operate every single moment of the day. It's not, you don't get a signal from a hormone floating through your blood instantly that tells something in your body to move. It's all transmissions of light and electrical energy from the minerals in your food, in the water, the vibrancy of the water that you drink, your connection to magnetic energy. And it's been a theory for 5,000 years at least that every morning, the first thing you do is you get up and set your vibration for the day. Because you don't know who you're going to run into for the rest of the day. You don't know what you're going to experience the whole rest of the day, so you have to set your vibration every morning. You know, that's a common theory in yoga. It's a common theory in religion. You ever wonder why all churches, all religions had a service at 6 o'clock in the morning every single day? Because it sets your brain and your vibration for the entire day to be in that state of where you're thinking of something higher than yourself. It's the same theory in yoga. It's the same theory throughout every mystical practice in the entire planet. You set your own personal energy field and go out in the day so other people don't bother you. They don't overwhelm you with their negativity. The same thing happens today. The modern way of looking at that is looking at an electromagnetic pollution all over the planet. Every single moment you're being bombarded by Wi-Fi energy, cell phone energy. There's a cell phone tower within 2 miles of probably every single person's house in this room. It's just emitting these frequencies that we've never been exposed to throughout all of time. The only frequency you've ever been exposed to for 1,000,000 years was the frequency of Mother Earth. And that's what your cells are attuned to, and that's what they love, and that's what they are in harmony with. And now in the last 150 years, we created electricity. I mean, it's not that we want to do without it. We've created Wi-Fi. In the last 20, 30 years, we've created all these computers, cell phones. You're constantly being bombarded with electromagnetic energy that has an impact on the cellular structure, the cell wall of every single cell in your body, including your brain. It's one of the things that adds to the whole syndrome of all these brain diseases that are going on. The fact that the electrical input and the electrical fields that are around us are having an impact on every single cell in your body. You know what else is fascinating? There's research that shows if you stand on the planet Earth, Wi-Fi comes up to your body and goes directly over your head and misses you and goes by and no longer penetrates your body just from standing on the Earth. Now, can we all do that every single moment of the day? Dirt shoes wear out really quick, you know, but the reality is you have the opportunity of putting your feet inside insoles. This amazing radical idea of creating Mother Earth and slipping it into your shoes. That creates and makes sure that your cells reach their optimum function and sets your energy for the entire day no matter where you go. Can you imagine the number of kids that are sitting in classrooms around America that are all exposed to Wi-Fi the entire day that they're at school? And how many of those kids have learning disabilities already? They have ADD. They're being sent to schools, poor nutrition, and being put into that environment. It creates that chaos that they live in every single moment. And yet you can make an impact simply by changing their shoes and giving them some jewelry, just to slightly offset the environment that they go into. It can make a huge difference in their life. All these things you have at your fingertips, the ability to actually utilize these products and make a huge difference in anybody's life. But once you tackle the sugar thing, you have no idea how profound that is. If you can kill off your own sugar cravings, you've made the biggest jump in your own personal health that you could ever make. You know that over 50% of heart attacks are really just related to how much sugar you eat every day?